what is something about your experience working on the Halloween franchise that came in handy while making this film? But then also, what is a horror filmmaking first you experienced making The Monkey?
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I feel like Halloween just set me up to like be semi sort of kind of relaxed on these sets. Like I feel like coming in, and again, it was interesting because Longlegs hadn't come out yet. So I think I just came in, and to be able to be calm and like show up and do the job is like that's a godsend. Um, man, what it was a horror film first on this one? Oh, I think like the death scene with me, which I don't want to spoil too much, but having to fake that without video effects was an interesting noise that I had to make with my throat, and that was a first. I don't think I've ever sounded like that in real life. So
What a great skill to have in your back pocket.
yeah,
I don't want
exactly.
to box you into this genre and this genre alone, but I feel like
Mm,
it could probably show right now. Like horror is my absolute favorite. So I have
yeah.
high hopes you will continue to work in this space. So can you tell me maybe a thing that is left on your horror movie making bucket list, like a type of character you want to play, a subgenre of horror you want to work in,
Oh
anything
man.
like that?
See, I'm like entirely enamored and in love with horror because it seems like the origin of some of the greatest weirdos on earth. You know, like even the Coen brothers started out with like horror shorts and stuff like that. So for me, it's like my collection of weirdos that feel like me. So my heart is in horror, truly. I'm obsessed with like the Crystal Lake thing that A24 is developing. Like anything Friday the 13th would be unbelievable. But then also like you watch Longlegs and stuff, and I just anything original too, or anything that's sort of I really want to work with like some young artists and make some smaller horror stuff and find some original ideas that are cool too.
I like to manifest things during these interviews. So everything you
Maybe
just
he
said,
just did.
I wanted to be spoken
Yeah.
into existence. I have a little bit of a random question. Is your
Mm.
passion for horror and having just done Halloween Ends why you wound up in Sabrina Carpenter's video, which just like that
I
video tickled me. I loved it.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun, man. I feel like the world's crazy right now, and I'm just trying to have a good time. That thing sort of manifested out of nowhere. I got like a call on a Thursday and then shot on that Saturday. And I don't remember how, why, or really what happened. I just remember having the best time with those girls, and they're so cool and hardworking. So who knows how I got in that video? No idea. Nobody told me. But I was in it and it was a good time. So
You having a good time on sets turns into me having a good time as a viewer. So keep having a good
fantastic.
time. I'll
That's
focus
good.
on Oz a little bit now because one of
Mhm.
my absolute favorite things about all of his movies and now also The Monkey is that they feel like movies that could only be directed by him. So,
Yeah.
what is something you observed him doing on this set that, maybe speaks to that singularity? Why the finished product feels uniquely Osgood Perkins?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing with Oz because I think the general public can feel like they just found him, but he's been working so intensely and so intelligently for so long that the amount of confidence he has, also the way he shoots, like you would think because his movies are so gorgeous and it's like, it feels like he has every shot in his back pocket. Like he shot a scene for 5 days but he's so specific and intelligent about how he does things. And then the other thing is how he leads with like joy. And I think leading with that freedom and joy and sort of like there's like a childlikeness to it and that level of creativity. And like you said, nobody else can do Osgood. And I think that comes from that place. Um, so working with him was just another like, I mean, it was such a unique experience that I think gave me a lot of confidence in remaining heavily creative and making some unique choices. Because who doesn't love living in Osgood's universe?
Hmm.
And
I
I'm
love the
sure who wouldn't love living in all of our universes if we could be genuine to them.
I love the emphasis on joy. It's
Yeah.
such an important thing, and I do think behind the scenes wise, that's one thing that keeps me coming back to horror is these films are made by people who come up with the most twisted ideas, but like
Yeah.
deep down they're just joyful filmmakers and
Yeah.
gigantic teddy bears, and I love
Look,
that.
we all want to go see a horror movie because it's fun to see
Yeah.
with your friend. That's what I mean, that maybe that's not everybody, but for me, like that's why I love horror. You get some of the best comedic moments in horror. It's just all there. It's such an all-encompassing genre, you know?
I'm right there with you. And The Monkey truly in particular is an absolute blast. Another thing I really wanted to ask you about was the production design, because in our press notes, it was explained that, you know, Danny and his team went to great lengths to include detail on every single set, even your family home, which I think is only featured in like 2 scenes. So can you maybe pinpoint like a teeny tiny detail that people might miss, but you appreciated and it filled out his world?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. It's that every set I stepped onto on that set was like so lived in and so perfect. There's the moment where you meet me and my family and mom, who shares the same haircut as me. There's a parrot beside us, and it's such an odd choice, and I don't know why it was there. Nobody told me, but it's just such a funny little thing that there's a parrot in this house. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? And that's like, to me, that's like Oz and his creative team is just making these little choices that why not? But also why? It's very unique that way. There's a lot of cool pins on Ricky's jacket, or there was in the fittings. I can't remember if I'm wearing them in the movie, but if you see one, read it. There should be some things in there.
I will definitely be rewatching this movie and looking for every little thing I possibly can. To wrap here, there's one particular thing that a bunch of people gave quotes on in our press notes. It's explaining their take on, you know, what the monkey is and what it represents. So I wanted to get your opinion on the same thing. For you, what is the monkey?
For me, like the monkey is a personification of like how cheated we can all feel by the cruelty of life. Which again, I think why Stephen King's one of my favorites and why I love reading his book is his nightmares are so specific to him and so eccentric at times and unique, but they're universal when you read them. It's a very common experience. So for me, the monkey, I think, is the personification of the cruelty of life in a way. And even if you put a face to the name, it's still not fair and not controllable. So it's a beautiful little analogy, Mr. King.
All your answers cross over, but are also like slightly unique. And I love the fact that I could feel every single one of them in the finished product.
Oh,
Awesome
man.
movie. I'm going to watch it over and over. Huge congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Barry. Appreciate it.